Okay, so this is the next essay type. You can always move between your essay type 1 and essay type 2. You can do any question you want. You can copy the answer to essay type 1 and paste it somewhere in essay type 2. So you're always free to move between your essay type 1 and 2, and you can use your responses anywhere, wherever you want to. So moving on, once you're done, you'll start. So you can see it's comparatively a much smaller essay type. Many companies recognize that their cost systems are inadequate for today's powerful global competition. Managers in companies selling multiple products are making important product decisions based on distorted cost information, as most cost systems designed in the past focus on inventory valuation, which you call the traditional cost accumulation system or absorption costing. In order to elevate the level of management information, it has been suggested that companies should have as many as 3 cost systems: inventory valuation for external financial reporting, management control of operations, and activity-based cost systems for decision making. So it says that it is suggested that companies should have as many as 3 cost systems: inventory valuation clearly for external financial reporting as per GAAP, as per IFRS, 2, management control of operations, processes, activities, and an activity-based cost system for decision making for product costing and pricing. So that's the idea, very small essay type scenario. First question: discuss why the traditional cost system, absorption costing, developed to value inventory, distorts product cost information. So it's better, once you have read the requirement, put down your jottings on the scratch paper, what you're going to write. So in this question, you can write that aggregation of cost will distort the information for costing purposes. Simply dumping all the costs in a single cost pool without identifying which items are taking more effort, that's the first problem. Second, that normally in traditional costing we use plant-wide factory overhead rates. We use direct labor hours, or we use sometimes machine hours. Some items which are in small quantity, in numbers, take more of your effort. So that cannot be traced using labor hours or machine hours, right? And then third point, you can write that using traditional inventory valuation system, it diminishes the value of long-term product analysis, because see, all costs in the long run are variable. Variable costs are variable, rent, like material, labor and variable overhead, but fixed cost, which we conveniently call fixed, in fact doesn't remain fixed in the long run. Fixed cost changes, like fixed costs like rent. Rent this year will change next year. The rent next year will change the third year following. So it means your fixed costs do not remain fixed over the longer period. So that is why, since all the costs are variable, so we just can't use the idea of fixed costs to allocate per unit cost to the individual products when the fixed cost itself is changing from a year-over-year basis. So it means we can write down our responses to this question. It says that discuss why the traditional cost system developed to value inventory distorts product cost information. We'll write in traditional cost system developed to value inventory distorts. I told you, distorts means it changes the shape of the cost composition. It distorts the product cost information because the system has certain weaknesses, and I'm going to discuss these one by one. Because the cost system, number one, so you can give the answer. Number one, the cost system that we're using, the cost accumulator, was designed to value inventory. The only purpose was to design to value inventory, not to find the product cost for pricing decisions. So this system was designed to value inventory and not to relate product cost information. That's why one reason is that we just wanted to calculate the value of inventory. The idea was not to calculate the product cost information for pricing decision. Second reason why this cost system fails is why it results in distortion. It uses a common departmental machine hour basis or labor hour basis or labor hour, or sometimes labor cost base also. You can also take dollar based cost driver also. Uses common departmental or labor or machine hour as activity base, which does not fairly allocate cost to those items which take more effort, more production efforts to make. The third point that you can discuss is that this method underestimates the long-term product costing, because all the costs, fixed or variable, change over the long run. Okay, so this answer is sufficient to fully explain what is needed in the question. So moving on to the next question. So we are going to answer the questions exactly as in the sequence. First is inventory valuation. We'll give the title, inventory valuation. You can copy paste also, inventory valuation. So identify the purpose and characteristics of each of the following system. Inventory valuation. Why do we do it? We do it for preparing financial statements. And as I told you guys, you can give your answers in bullets like these. This bullet means it's a point. Not 1, 2, just we can write A as well, fine. A with little tab, that is for preparing financial statements, of course income statement and balance sheet, right? Within this, B for providing monthly and quarterly performance reports. Okay, done. 2. Do not go for extended details. Give what is needed. Next is the management control of operations. Management control of operations. A or static, whatever you want to. A. Costing information. Why does management need the information? Management needs information for evaluating operations, and identifying and rectifying problems through costing information. And then, of course, very important reason, comparing cost with budgets. Comparing costs with the budgets. Calculate variances and take corrective actions means something similar. Analyze variances, etc. Okay, done. Third part, activity-based costing. Activity-based costing. A. See, to the point, specific what he needs. I'm sure when we read activity-based costing, we discussed in detail certain activities that are value-adding, certain that are not value-adding. So to distinguish between value-adding and non-value adding for cost control purposes. And then you can write better costing for making appropriate pricing decision right? Or if you may, I think it's sufficient, but still if you want, I think sufficient. Okay. Question 2 is done. See, and it has just taken us 10 minutes only to answer 2 questions. Do not extend beyond what is needed. No extended answer is required. Try to be brief, to the point. Give your answers in bullets. Do not go for long extended paragraphs. And that's the strategy you should follow for essay type exams. Okay, so the next question is question number 3. That is the 3/3 of this essay type information. So clicking next. So describe the benefits that management can expect from activity-based costing. We have well discussed this during our lectures. Better cost control, better pricing, cost reduction, process improvement. These points to be explained in 1 or 2 lines only. Do not extend. B. List the steps that company using traditional costing system would take to implement activities. Do not write 8 and 9 steps. Just try to sum it up within 3 or 4 steps. 2 steps would be sufficient. So you'll give A in writing the answers. The benefits that management can expect from ABC. Yes, this is what you can shorten because we need activity-based costing. Include the following. 1, or you can give asterisk or small a. ABC leads to a more competitive position by evaluating cost drivers. And I'm sure you know what are cost drivers. Activities that drives cost up. You can just give a brief description what these are. Cost associated with the complexity of the production, rather than production volume. See, means those items that are produced less in number, they should cost more under ABC. But those items that are produced on massive scale, they will have comparatively less cost. Second point, you can give an enter also if you want to, so as to differentiate your options clearly. This is your option A, the part A. Second, it identifies non-value adding costs. That means adding costs. These are the costs that do not add value in the product and hence have no utility for the customer, like material handling and storage. Customer is not willing to pay extra price for these. So these can be eliminated, or if not eliminated, they can be reduced. Third, it provides better costing information which the management can use to make better pricing decisions. Halas, A is over. B. List the steps that the company using a traditional cost system would take to implement activity-based costing. You don't need to be extensive. the steps that a company using traditional cost system would take to implement ABC include the following. Again, you can give ABC or just asterisk sign or whatever you want to. Okay, here we go. First, the first step is evaluation of the existing system to assess how well the system supports the objectives of an ABC cost system. What does it mean? It means, guys, if companies producing complex different types of products, go for ABC. If company is heavily involved in the use of machines, the fixed cost is a major part of cost build-up, go for ABC. But if the company is producing only one product, no need to go for ABC. If the labor cost is a significant part of the cost of production, then no need for go to ABC. That's why you first have to evaluate that whether ABC is good for us or not. So that's very important. Would it suit our business? Then next is identification of the activities for which cost information is needed, while differentiating between value adding and non-value adding activities. 3. Selecting a suitable cost driver for each activity cost pool and determining the rate per unit of driver. That is rate for setup cost per setup, material handling cost per unit, shipping cost per shipment, and then finally using these rates, cost can be allocated to n units based upon the consumption and that's all. You're done, and we have done this in just 18 minutes.